Hello everybody, Steffi here from The Makers, and it is an exciting day today if you are a Hoggie pack owner, or indeed if you are a family member of Heather, because she's gonna be born today. I'm really excited to make little Heather. She's of course going to be a naked hog, so I'm covering her strategic parts there, and she's the first one of the 4 characters that you will be making leading up to Advent. If you've had our McHoggie Christmas edition pack, then there are lots of extras in there, and obviously maybe you're doing this live with me, but if you're watching this anytime in the future, we will be releasing the Hoggie pack for anybody without Christmas in mind in January on Burns Night, actually. So we thought that that was actually one of my colleagues' ideas, and I thought that was amazing to use that as the launch of the McHoggies. So, welcome everybody who's watching today, and obviously all of those who are watching this. This is a special edition. We're not normally live on a Friday, so I don't know if we will have less people because everybody is so tuned in to come and see us on a Tuesday. But we will be also repeating this on Sunday this week, and that is, today is Friday, the 6th of December 2020. So if you're watching this anytime after, there might be some things that are not relevant anymore. First of all, the most important thing is the competition. We will have a competition today, so we're having an extra one this week, and that means that you can win yourself a heart pack today. That's up for grabs today. It's yesterday was International Gift Day, so I did a little tutorial for the Virtual Village Show on Facebook, which you can still watch if you look for their Facebook page, and they have lots of interesting free tutorials. It's not just crafting, it's across the board, so you can learn how to play the ukulele and get ballet lessons as well. And this pack is up for grabs today, so you can make 3 hearts, which can be Christmas decoration, or they might just make a nice gift. So even though it's a day late for International Gift Day, you get this in from us. And the question that we like to ask you today, and this is how you enter the competition, is what do you think is the first thing that Heather will say when Homer walks through the door on Christmas this year? What's the first thing that Heather will say as Homer walks through the door? Remember, they haven't seen each other forever and ever and ever. And just to remind you that the whole family consists of Heather. This is a dressed version, and we will be making some of these clothes during our live stream leading up to Christmas as well. So make sure you don't miss out on those. They're always on a Tuesday from now on. I just got to hide Heather because we haven't seen Heather and Homer together in the picture yet. But this is Homer, who is on his way home. He is so close. He's quite a handsome chap. So Homer will come home and Heather will greet him. And what is Heather going to say to Homer as he walks through the door? And as we all know, there are also 2 other family members, and they consist of Holly McHoggie and of Huey McHoggie, her little brother. And they're, of course, really excited for Homer to come home too, because they haven't seen him for quite a few months either. And I think Homer will be quite surprised how much they have grown, especially little Huey. So they're patiently waiting, but today it's all about Heather. So we're going to make her like that. And if you have watched us earlier this week, you know that we've already made the arms and the legs, and we've made her hairdo. So she's almost ready, legs and arms, and you can watch that video still. It stays on YouTube, so you should be able to find that. And that was earlier this week. So let's have a quick look who is here today. Just gonna read some of the hellos and comments here. Obviously this is live on YouTube, so if you're watching this on Thursday, there will be other comments. So I can only read what I can read here today, but we are sorry when I say Thursday, that is normally Thursday, but on this occasion it's Sunday. Get this right, Steffi. So we've got Gina here and Laura and Carol. And Carol has got the hands, feet and arms and legs at the ready. Brilliant. Bridget is there. So Bridget is watching all the way from Australia, which is amazing. So you're definitely a bit of a night owl, Bridget. And Beverly is there. Rachel is there. Maybe Daniel as well. Maybe not today. It's an unusual day. Donna is there. Donna says, hello, a little late, but got here. Don't have my hands and feet ready, but we'll watch any and catch up later. Excellent. Kim is there. Julie is there. Fanny is there. Alex is there. Alex says, hi, Steffi and everybody. Trisha is there. I'm so excited and looking forward to this. Excellent. Me too. I can't wait to make another Heather. You're spoiling us 3 times. We have tuned in this week. I know. Can you see by the rings on the eyes? I've actually had a 2.5-hour workshop on Zoom last night as well. So we've been making tomte last night with a lovely group. A craft group who decided quite early on in the summer that they wanted to have a workshop on Zoom with me, and that was really lovely actually. Sandra is there. Where have you been? Where have I been? I don't know. Where have I been? Are you asking me? Heather will say, you didn't shave yourself. Oh, no, Homer will come home really smooth and trim and smelling of roses because he wants to present himself in his best way, obviously. She'll say, I love you. Of course she will. She will say, these kids have been a real handful. That's what I would say. That's for sure. Heather will say, you are late. Yes, about 9 months late. Can you still buy the felt pack for the clothes? Yes, you can. So the felt pack for the clothes is either the bright rainbow or muted rainbow, and they will be perfect for making the clothes, of course. Oh, okay. Now Heather will definitely not squeal my daddy because Homer is her husband, but she might have got confused and all that lockdown. Who isn't? I hardly ever know what day of the week it is. So anyway, I'm already reading all these comments. I'm gonna. Oh, it's snowing in Lincolnshire. Ooh. And Kathleen says it's absolutely pouring down here. Would prefer the snow. I will be honest. I would love some snow. Just give me snow anytime. I don't mind being snowed in right up to the brim. I really don't care. A bit of snow and the world just sort of starts to be really quiet. And you know what I love the most about snow? You're gonna laugh at this now, is that the house stays clean and your shoes, they've never been cleaner if you walk through the snow. Couple of days of snow and they look like brand new. Don't need to ever clean them. No mud, nothing. It's just no grass, nothing stuck to them. It's just perfect. I love it. Just for that reason, I want some snow. Yeah, I am a bit mad. Okay, let's start with making Heather before I get carried away telling you snow stories. So I've got my felting mat at the ready. I've got my legs and arms for Heather, and there's the head cover that we've made earlier from this amazing hedgehog fabric, which of course you can also buy just for fun and separately from us. I'm adamant to stick to the instructions, so I've got them at the ready as well. They're all 4 together. It was taken by a professional nudist photographer, and we got as far as here. We got as far as this, where we are making the head cover, and now we need to take our remaining pipe cleaner. There it is. And you will, in your hedgehog pack, you get a big bag of wool of all these different colors, and they're meant so that each color can make one hoggy, but you can also mix colors. So I've chosen the fox sheep, which is incidentally it's called fox sheep because it is this color on the body, and the head is a red fox color. So it's an amazing sheep. And for this you also need now so you take a wisp of black wool, which I've got in here. So I'm just going to take some out. And what's interesting, or not interesting, but what's useful about these instructions is that obviously you want to make the characters different sizes. So height, rather. So it tells you for Heather, you need 2 15-centimeter pipe cleaners for the arms and legs. We've done that. And then you need 1 long pipe cleaner which is 30 centimeter. Now the pipe cleaners are always 30 centimeters, so I don't need to cut it or measure it or anything like this. But as we're only doing Heather, remember when you do the other characters that you will check against the measurements here what you actually need to use. So for example, for Holly, which is up next, you need a 25 centimeter pipe cleaner. For Huey, you need a 22 centimeter pipe cleaner. And I just noticed, Emma, this isn't in bold. Oh dear. This is not good, Emma. It's not in bold. And then for Homer, you need the 30 centimeter again. I'm being so mean. Emma is at the other end, and she'll absolutely hate that I've spotted that. What makes me want to laugh now. So, and then it also tells you the finished size. And then this size here, we're going to come back to that, which is the measurement from nose to base of foot. And that is quite important when we fit the legs in. But first of all, we're going to make the nose. And for this, we needed the black wool. Go back to the page where we need to be at. So the reason why we're making one character together is that you know at least how one is made, and then you can just adjust the size of the pipe cleaner, the different color wool, and you make a different a different size hedgehog wig for the other characters. So so first of all, you're going to take a wisp of the black, and you're wrapping this around the end of the pipe cleaner, and you're actually making the nose. So we don't need to needle felt the nose on at all. It's already ready made. And when you've covered, actually it's only about 1 to 2 centimeters. I'm being a bit generous here. But when you've covered 1 to 2 centimeters, then you bend it in half and you pinch it nice and tight. So you've got your bend in here, and then you cover it some more. So you're making it almost looks a little bit like a black Q-tip. Sounds horrible. And just get rid of the black there. Doesn't matter if you cover the rest with black, because you're going to have to cover that now with a different color wool anyway. So that's what it looks like now. Got that's the nose bit. And then you're going to use a little bit of your main color wool, which you've already used on the arms and legs. So that for Heather, it is that really nice cream wool. If you've chosen to make Heather a different color, then obviously that will be something else. And I'm going to wrap more of this wool around the pipe cleaner now, but I'm trying to keep that little black nose visible. And so what you're doing here is you're making the snout. Basically, this is going to be the snout of Heather. So just wrap that, and you can notice that I'm already going a little bit sort of cone shape towards the head. I'm going to give it another layer. And what makes them really cute looking, these hedgehogs, is that they have upturned noses. And you can already, the next step is sort of quite important for you to get an idea of where you're going with the shape. So you're actually bending the pipe cleaner in. And now at the moment, she's got a straight one, but then you're bending this up. So you have an upturned nose, which is only in the cute way. She isn't really an upturned nose kind of Hoggie. She's a really lovely, caring character. And all these wispy ends you can start felting down. If you don't have them, then don't worry about it, because we're going to go over this so many times. But we've already bent this head in now. So just felting these wispy ends down, but we're going to cover more of this wool over the top as well. So now we need to attach the arms. So I've got my little head here with a slightly upturned nose, and I'm going to work on that later, but we want to get the arms into place. So you are actually going to wrap the arms around the pipe cleaner rather than the pipe cleaner around the arms, if that makes sense. So what you need to do is just one twist. So you're just going round, one twist, and we're back again. Okay, so that will slightly shorten the arms. That's exactly what we want to do, shorten the arms there. So now we've got the arms attached. And now the next thing is the bit where you need to read in your table at the beginning of the instructions. And it says here that the measurement from the nose to the base of the foot needs to be 10.5 centimeters. So the measurement needs to be 10.5 centimeters from the nose to the base of the foot. And that basically means that when you attach the legs, and with the legs it's the other way around, you are attaching the pipe, the main body pipe cleaner around the legs rather than the legs around the main pipe cleaner. So it's the opposite of what we did with the hands. And then you've got to measure. And remember, if you haven't got a tape measure, you can use our instructions here. So lay your little hoggy down, and then this is the base of the foot here, which I can see on the and it is the bottom of the page, so you do need to go to the bottom of the page, because that up here, that's up to 1. And then the nose needs to be 10.5 centimeters. So if you this is 10.5 centimeters here, so I think this is about right. And then you just turn the pipe cleaner up, and you're going to get rid of that pipe cleaner around her body. So this is a way of just getting rid of the pipe cleaner, but also securing the legs. So you can, if you've got enough pipe cleaner, just go around the legs again. And that will make sure that the height is the right height now. Okay. So there she is. Very skinny at the moment, but we're going to add wool to her to make her nice and fat. And before we go anywhere near the body with the wool, we're actually going to work a little bit more on the head. So the head is the one thing that needs to be built up quite a lot. If you look at her head here, before this fits her head, can you see how she definitely needs a lot more bulk building on the head? And this is where a lot of the wool goes, is on the head of the hoggies. So just bear that in mind, that this is where we are now, and this is what we want to get to. So her legs will become shorter as well, because we're going to cover part of her legs with wool, and you can give her whatever body shape you like, whether you like her more pear shape or whether she's rounder in different areas. That's entirely up to you. I'm going to keep it very, very civil and what's the word, clean. So I'm going to use more wool now around her head, because we need to build up that back of the head. You can bend her arms out of the way. Remember that the pipe cleaners only bend so often, so don't go crazy on bending those pipe cleaners, because eventually they do break. So, and if you could stay with that nose pointing slightly upward, that is really important, that you sort of maintain that shape, because that gives you an idea where you need to add wool. And then of course you're using your felting needle. I'm using my nice earth friendly felting mat. This is the A6, so it's like a postcard size, but it's brilliant to work with. And I'm just stabbing the wool down. And then you can also give her sort of start working on her face, so you can felt into the front of the face, which will build the back up, but you're also already sort of adding the markings for the eyes. And we're just doing this so that we can see where the proportions are. She's got quite a long snout here at the moment, so I might just, when I say long, I mean quite a thin snout. So you can work a little bit more on the snout as well. Build a bit more up around there. If you're losing that little black nose, don't worry too much about it, because we can soon make it pop out again. Just felt the wool down that you've added, and then just go into the front of the little nose, and it will just pop out. Just felt around it, and the wool will just tuck in around it, and then you can felt the extra layers that you've added down as well. But so don't panic if your nose disappears. It is still there. There you go. Right. And you can see what's happening now it's just a question of adding more layers and making sure that you can build the bulk of that head up so that it fits the hedgehog spikes that you've got at the ready there. So having done a bit more work on her head, you're now going to concentrate more on her body, and that is literally just a question of layering the wool on her and around her, and putting, I want to say meat on the bones, but it's actually wool on the pipe cleaner. So can lay that on there, then felt down. What you need to be extra mindful of is that there is obviously a wire just inside that wool that you're wrapping around. And if you hit that full on with your felting needle, then you'll be in trouble. You bend your needle and you might even break it straight away, or it will certainly break if it's already bent. You can't unbend these needles quite that easily because they're not very flexible. So I'm building up a bit more bulk on her. And once you've built up bulk on her, by wrapping the wool around her, there will be a point where you don't want to wrap wool around her anymore, because you're just going to add more bulk all around the same, everywhere the same, front and back. There will be a point where you will want to add extra wool on the bum or extra wool on the tummy, wherever, and then you don't wrap anymore. You add little wool patches onto the specific area that you want to build up, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I will just check in with everybody, and just want to read some more comments of what Heather is going to say. The first thing that Heather is going to say as she walks through the door, and she sees Homer, her beloved Homer, standing there ready to whatever. What is she going to say to him? Right, let's have a look what we've got here on offer. So so Heather will say, Homer, my love, I'm so happy you're home. Oh, that's a nice thing. Yes, of course she will say that. Yes, so that's a nice thing to say. Homer, I've waited so long for a hog hug. Oh, I like that. I like a hog hug. Oh, that's a nice one. So talking about a hog hug, I saw Sophie the other day, and of course we weren't allowed to hug, whether it's a hog or not a hog, but I did meet her and we had some lunch together, and I think she's just waiting now, which is, if you've had babies, it's a bit boring, but then everybody also tells you, make the best of it. It will never be the same, especially if it's your first. And so I think she's trying to think what that's like. And you'll only ever know that in hindsight, and then you pass that advice on to other people. And so it goes round in circles and circles and circles. So I said to her, just pretend you're on holiday, just make the best of it, and just don't wait around. Just be like on holiday, go out and enjoy yourself. And so hopefully she's doing that, but I think it must be really hard for her. Well, I imagine it would be hard for me, because the Makers is her baby right now, and yeah, well, not for much longer. She'll have another baby, so she's got to split her time between the two. But yeah, no, she's doing really well. Right, let's read some more. Oh, Erica has joined us. Hi, Erica. Carol says, Heather says, and now the holidays are complete with Homer home. Family life is sweet. Oh, that's a rhyme. You're a true poet, you are. Haley Hutton says, Heather will say, I missed you so much, but I've not missed your dirty washing. But Homer is a modern man. He does his own washing, of course. He's done it for the last 9 months, because he's been on an oil rig. He doesn't have anybody do his washing there either. Nice if we weren't going anywhere, but we had to cancel our appointment and turn. Oh, hang on. Oh yes. Oh, and our appointment and turn back home as roads were really. Oh, sorry. We're talking about weather now. We're not talking about what Heather is saying to Homer. That's quite a long sentence, completely unrelated to anything probably going on. Oh no, so the snow got in the way and you had to turn around. Oh well. So Emma spotted that I spotted her non-bold, a couple of non-bold prints. Extra strong pipe cleaners. Yes, we do that. Faith says, Emma, you are practically perfect in every way. One mistake is allowed every now and again. That's absolutely right, Faith. I couldn't agree more with you. Catriona says, Heather will say, phew, I can put my feet up at last. Yeah, dumb right. Oh, I wasn't meant to swear today. I hope that wasn't too bad. Okay, might have to be bleeped out again. Faith says, I'm looking forward to making my Heather. I've had a not so wonderful time at home lately, so I've booked Saturday as my day for felting. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, I'm so sorry you've had a tough time, Feather, Faith, Faith. Oh dear, oh dear. Faith. Um, well, I hope that maybe this made you laugh. If nothing else, I'll think of another joke. Not that I said that on purpose. Um, oh yes, Sophie as well. Heather says, "Oh my goodness, I've missed you, my little huggy dumpling." Is this what Heather says? So this was what Homer says to Heather. Oh, we have to do that next time. Heather will say, "I'll just put the kettle on, sit down by the fire, and get warm through." That's nice. I wish somebody would say that to me. Heather is going to say, "You have put on weight." Wow. Oh dear, this is really funny. Supper is on the table, Homer. Wipe your feet. Oh, sorry, what is the question? Well, that's what I want to know, Laura. Well, the question is, what would Heather say? The first thing Heather will say when Homer walks through the door after months and months being apart from each other. That is the question, and that will win you. If you've missed that, Laura, that will win you a heart with ribbon pack, and it makes 3 hearts. And if you want to watch how it's done, there's instructions in there as well. You can find our free tutorial on the virtual village hall Facebook page. Right, I'm going to move on with Heather now. Heather. I'm still doing it. Okay, this is the camera we need. I'm just gonna lie down for 5 minutes. I'm sure I'll be better after that. Right, talking about lying down, Heather is lying down ready to be built up with wool now. So there's quite a lot of fluffy wool that I need to stab in. And you might have spotted that I've sort of started to shorten her legs by adding more wool between her legs and bringing sort of the crotch down a little bit. And I'm literally just gently stabbing my needle into the wool that I've layered on top of the wire frame, so that I can then see where she might need a little bit more bulk adding. So I mentioned earlier that you can add bulk not just by wrapping, but also by just laying on little patches of wool. So if you want to do that, you can prepare them by tearing bits of wool off and making sort of a wad. So there, that's quite nice. And then I'm going to give her a little bit of a bum here now, and then just lay it onto the area that you want to build up. Felt it down around the edges first, because you should have sort of a wad that holds together with the fibers being on top of each other. So felt that down around the edges first, and then assess how much you need to felt this down once it's laid on. And you might have to repeat this several times depending on how much you want to build up the size there. But I'm just giving her a bit of a bum here, and felt this down everywhere else. And we're not finished with the head yet. We're going back to that as well, because the hairdo doesn't fit her yet, I'm pretty certain. These little hoggies, they do have quite big heads, especially Heather and Homer. So they need a bit more bulk there. She's also looks a bit scrawny around here, so I'm going to give her more shoulders. And I'm just going to wrap the wool around her upper arm. I don't want to make her arms too fat, but I'm going to give her a layer here. Then you felt that down. If the wrapping sort of leaves like it looks a bit mummified, then you can cover that up with little bits of wool. So don't worry too much. Like, for example, here I show you now, there it looks like I've just wrapped that on there. So just use the wad principle, or just a dusting of wool, lay it over the top and felt it down, and then you make all that sort of wrapped looking wool disappear, and just have a nice smooth transition, so that she's got a smooth body rather than looking like a mummy who's just been wrapped in some cloth or wool. And you will just basically keep working on her shape wherever you feel she needs it, whether she needs more around her bum or her chest, or wherever. You just you assess, you shape your own little Heather, whatever shape you like her to be. I'm going to do the other arm now. There, same as I did the first one. Just go around it. I don't want to add too much bulk on the arm, so I'm trying to concentrate on the upper arm, but that inevitably looks like I'm wrapping it, so I'm going to have to lay a little bit wool over that and felt that down. So I'm using, at the moment, I'm using, I just need to look this up. What is this again? I'm using I'm actually using a fine twisted needle. I didn't mean to. It's not giving me much oomph, I will admit. So I'm going to just get another one. So I'm going for a purple one. Let's have a purple. If you don't know our needles, they come in tubes like this. Somebody asked the other day if we take these tubes back, and unfortunately we don't. So because we send them out like this so they stay nice and safe, I suppose you could fill them with other things other than needles, like maybe you could put some beads or eyes in it. The glue in eyes would be great in there as well. So because the glue in eyes usually don't get packaged up in any solid containers, so you could use them for that, or maybe for our super duper brooch pins, the no-sew brooch pins, or maybe you've got other little treasures that can be put in these little tubes. They're quite useful for beads and other little things that you need to store away safely. So there's an idea. If you get lots of these tubes, unfortunately we can't take them back. Share them with your friends. Maybe they have not bought as many needles. So I want to make sure that I keep this head exactly where it needs to be, and I'm going to give Heather a little bit more cover here at the front to get rid of the wrapped look. And then I'm going to build, once I've done all of this, I'm going to build a little bit more bulk up on the head, because what you can do is to know once you've reached that bulk is by using her hairdo. And I talked about this briefly last time, but that longer part, that longer arrow, so you've got a shorter arrow here and then you've got two same sides, that longer arrow sits at the back of the head. So it's like she's got a long, like she's got long hair running down the back of her. And what needs to happen is that one arrow at the front needs to sort of go into her forehead, and then the two sides should sit by the side of her head. And if you fix it in like this, you can see now that there's actually quite a lot of space in there still. So I need to build bulk up in there. And when I start fastening on her, when I fasten the eyes in, when I fasten the eyes in, that's when I call the competition as a cutoff point for the competition. So I'm going to build a bulk on top of her head. I'm going to be quite generous with this. She already looks like a hedgehog now with the extra bulk on top. So I'm just stabbing that into place, and I'm building up that bulk so that it's ready to have that hairdo sitting properly on top and not flopping around or falling into her face. So when I spoke to Emma earlier, I was saying that I'm going to have to be quite speedy doing this, because it will take you probably longer than an hour to felt her down nice and solid. So I might just keep her a little bit soft and race ahead. So don't feel like you're an inadequate crafter. I'm just not going to fit this into an hour otherwise. So remember, you can always watch this again, put me on hold, and then catch up and do it properly, whilst I'm just doing it quite softly here at the moment. Trying to keep this eye, the eye patch, the eye indentation here. It definitely works squeezing that nose in and up, because that gives them the cute look. So make sure you have that little nose still upturned, and occasionally just squeeze it in a bit so that it doesn't like become too long. And if you need to bring out that black again, then do so by just going around it, by stabbing the white wool in around it. They've also got sort of like big cheeks, so the finished look could be something like that. I'm not too far off, actually. I think I'm getting there. We're going to put a little mouth in her later as well. So at the moment, I'm just mostly focusing on getting the head here at the back, building the bulk up so I can fit the hedgehog spikes on top of there. Remember that we will be doing the clothes as well, and we're doing a Christmas tree and presents. And if you want to see the Christmas tree, it looks like this. It's a Hoggie sized Christmas tree, and you can decorate it with little wool balls, and then there will also be a short tutorial on how to make these little square needle felted Christmas presents with a ribbon on it. And that's all coming up still before Christmas, and then there's going to be a Christmas special on when you unpack your little Hoggie. And so don't when you unpack your little envelopes, and then I can't actually remember any of the dates. Please, Emma, help me out. I'm just trying desperately to think of the dates. So yeah, right, I think we need a bit more on the back of her head, even more. I'm going to go a bit. What you see me doing now is I'm going along the wire into her body to firm it down, but I can go a little bit more with a bit more oomph needle felting into it, because you that way you you don't have to worry so much about the wire. You know it's there, but you also know it's not there. I'm going to pull these arms out a bit because they've become a bit short. So don't be afraid to manhandle your little Hoggie and make it and put it into shape how you want her to be. That's basically it there. So more on the back of the head here. A little bit more wool. Build that up. There we go. We were just talking about the weather earlier, Emma and I think what's happened is that it's actually got quite cold, but it's only in the north of the UK, i.e. in Scotland, and I think in Northern Ireland where it has turned to snow, whereas here everywhere else it's just turned into cold rain, and it's just that time of the year, I suppose. It's not long before it goes the other way again. That's what I always keep thinking. We're heading really fast towards the winter eclipse, so. And then the days will get longer again. It might not feel that way for a bit, but it is happening. And of course, Bridget, for you, it's the other way around. So your midsummer is approaching fast, and that's exactly where we want to be. I'd much rather be in midsummer right now than heading towards midwinter. But that's just how it goes. It goes round and round. There we go. And we've got the dark side at the moment. But it will change again. Keep pushing that little nose in so it stays nice and cute. There's a lot of stabbing where you have to, if you've done our mice before, they take much less stabbing because they're not actually as bulky and as big. So get Heather into a natural shape there. So the head, let's just check on that again. Oh, it's getting better. It's definitely a better fit than it was earlier. So the sides sort of need to come in, then this needs to sit on top of her head. But I think I need a bit more. So I'm going to put a bit more on top of her head. Heather has got the biggest sort of hairdo. I mean, Homer's is big as well, but he doesn't have the long spikes, so it almost feels a bit, I don't know why, but his head seems a bit smaller because the spikes are shorter. Right, get that down. Get that down. Get the bulk on her head filled in. And of course, this Sunday, you can open your second envelope and you can make the second family member, which I believe is Holly. So Holly is slightly smaller than Heather. She's only a teenage hedgehog. Okay, right. So you're obviously making sure that this is felted down really nice and solidly. I'm going to just check how we're doing now. Yeah, I think that'll do now. Got her going in that way, fits around there. Yeah, let's leave it as that. Right, so the next thing that we're going to do with Heather is we're going to have to prep this piece of fabric here so that we can needle felt it onto her head. Now, there's no sewing involved. We don't sew anything on, we don't even use glue. And what you need to do is you need to use wisps of wool like that. And you can even sort of fold them in half if they're too long. And then you're just felting them in onto the edge of the hedgehog fabric. Now this might work better, definitely better with a medium if not a fine needle. So because of the coarse needle you might just sort of find that there's too much resistance to get your, yeah, definitely works well with a fine needle, and I've tried a medium one earlier. And you're doing this all the way around. Every single edge of the hedgehog fabric needs to be covered with this body white wool. If for whatever reason you haven't got enough wool, say you make your heather quite stately and her body is a lot bigger than mine is, then you can use different wool to build up the wool on the head. You have got plenty of wool in your bag. There will be wool left over. I'm just thinking that if you need more bulk on top of the head, then use the next color up, which is the Caracal Merino, which is sort of a slightly darker beige color. That's just as a tip if you're running out of wool, because your heather is going to be quite stately. It's the wool under the cap that you can vary if you want to make sure that you've got enough. There you go. This is quite sort of labor intensive, but you're basically covering the sides of this with the wool, and you can see that it looks a little bit strange, but all of this will completely disappear when we add it to Heather's head. So stab it right through the fabric, and make sure that you've got the wispy ends sticking out on the side. That's quite important, because they are basically the bits that fasten the fabric on to the head. So just work your way around it. Now, if you want to keep, I should have said that, if you want to keep the back bit loose, and the reason why you might want to keep that loose, I can always pull that off again, is because if you give her a dress and you want the hair to go over the dress, then don't do that last bit here. So I've just covered it, so I'm going to take that off again. Just move it along to the other side. And that's the only reason why you would not put the wool on the back, on that long arrow on the fabric. But that's entirely your choice. If you want it to be tucked inside her dress, then that's fine too. Nearly there. Keep the wool that you're fastening to the fabric quite thin and dust like a dusting, because the needle is already working hard to get into the fabric. If you lay lots of wool on top, then that makes it even harder. You can of course use a needle felting tool. If you've got a 3 needle felting tool, you could just use 2 needles. I definitely wouldn't use 3 needles loaded in there. And just also remember, when you make holly, the spikes that I was telling you sit on the back of Heather's on Heather's neck. They're with holly, they're the other way around. So that makes her sort of fringe, her long fringe. Right, there we go. She looks quite funny actually. So now all you need to do is you need to felt down these wispy ends that you have felted onto the fabric. You've got to felt them into the head now. And you can even go into the fabric a little bit on the outside, but you wouldn't necessarily have to do that. Just make sure that you've got it in the right place. So felt these parts down. I'm going to go back to my medium needle because it works better. So the fine needle to punch the fibers into the fabric, and then go back to your medium needle to felt the fibers that you felted onto the fabric into the head to fasten on her hairdo. Do this around the back as well. I'm leaving this open. Just got to do it that way. And if you want to secure it a little bit more, then you can stab into the fabric as well. You shouldn't have to, but if you feel it would work better, then you can just use your fine needle again and just go straight into the fabric and felt more of those fibers that you've attached to the fabric onto the head. And the way that you're fastening it on by putting the wool onto the fabric, it just makes a nice neat edge around here as well. You will always end up with a few wispy hedgehog spikes that have come off. I think I missed a bit here. Looks that way. Okay, just gonna fasten that on. I think I missed a bit when I added fibers on the fabric, but that's okay. And then have that edge, not that edge, but that arrow, that the short arrow, it sort of sits on her forehead, coming down her nose. There, that's it. Right, so we fasten that on now. So she's got her hairdo in place. I've lost the eye bits here a bit, so you might have to just adjust the shape a bit more again. And this is still not too late to add bulk to her little head. I'm going to firm up the nose a bit because that will have a bit more work doing on this in a minute. And you can see that you can sort of follow the line of the round part under her nose, which is going to be the mouth, and you can add more bulk to this part here, because that adds a little bit like chubby cheeks almost. So use your technique of making little wool pads, lay that under her eyes, around her cheeks basically, and then just felt it down, and you can repeat that again if you need to. But sort of keep in that line, stab it in that line, so that she has a slightly broader, it's almost like the cheekbones that are slightly broader. So you don't want her to have a mousy look, you do want her to have a hedgehog look. And they've got these ones have got, can you see how that's made a difference on that side, and that's still quite flat. So you can repeat that if you need to, felt it down, and then repeat it again if need be. If you are joining us to do the clothes for the hedgehogs, then the templates are on the instructions. Now with the Christmas edition, because you're getting the extra little presents in the individual envelopes, Heather's envelope contained a piece of fabric for the kilt for Homer. That is a very straightforward design. You don't need to cut anything, you don't need to sew anything. You literally have a piece of fabric that fits around Homer, and as soon as you put the kilt pin in, it's done. So we don't have the shape, the pattern on the instructions, because you don't need one. There isn't one. Right. So now, how does this little Hoggie lady look? She could do with a bit of shrinking down on her upper arms. Remember, you can post the arms as well. Oops, just pinged the needle out of my felting mat. If you want to give her a bigger chest, which is what I've done with this one here, she's even got sort of a slight boob job there, you can do that too, but I'm not going to do that today. You can shape your own little Heather body however you want it, and I'm not going to work anymore on her shape, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to do the eyes and the ears in the time that I have got. So you get the gist. Give her the right padding where you think she needs it. And I think this Heather might be a bit taller than my other Heathers. Probably didn't measure it very carefully on that. Oh yeah, she's quite tall. Oh well, never mind. I'll try and bend her down a bit more. Let's see, how big is she now? Oh, she's still a bit... So if you've got a really tall Heather, there's nothing wrong with that, of course, because you can have tall women. And if you want to make Homer taller, you can do that as well. Or he could be shorter. That's fine too. So she's ready now to receive her. I think what I'm doing next are the eyes. A little indentation down here for the mouth. So use your slightly coarser needle. So in my case, the medium needle. You can felt that down. Now you can actually color this in. So you could use, if you've got a blusher, you can color this in, or if you've got a red crayon, you can color this in. I didn't bring mine here, but this basically, this little bit of pink is not created by felting wool. I've literally used a red pen, not a felted pen, just a red pencil, and colored that in, and the same with the cheeks. So you can do this with also with a bit of blusher if you have got that knocking around. If you want to use pink wool, feel free. It doesn't come in the pack, so you have to use your own. So here I'm just giving her a little mouth, a little smiling mouth, because she's happy. Of course she's happy. Homer is coming home. So there you go. I've given her the features in her face. I'm not particularly happy, I'll be honest, with the body, but if I had more time, I would work on that more now. But I'm gonna leave that because I want to move on to doing the eyes. And this is the official shout out for all of those who have entered the competition, and for those who haven't entered yet, last chance to do it, because I'm going to move on to the eyes now after I've had a look at the comments here. Let's have a look. Oh, I just show you Heather standing like that. So there she is. She's got her head, it's a nice shape. She's got her hairdo on. I'm not too worried that this is flopping up here at the back, because I'm gonna in a minute I'm going to needle felt ears onto the outside of that fabric, so that will also help to firm it on and keep it on in place. Let's just have a look what people have been suggesting that Heather says as Homer walks through the door. The first thing that she says. Heather says, so this is Faith says. Heather says, oh my goodness, I've missed you, my little. Oh no, I've done that. My Huggy dumpling. I've done Huggy dumpling. I remember that. Okay, must remember where I was. I have to ask Pam how she does that. She doesn't lose the spot where she was. Oh, Faith says, I don't think I've read that. Heather says, oh, I'm so happy to have you home. Oh my goodness, I got to say that with a Scottish accent now. But Heather isn't Scottish, so it's okay if she says it with a really bad Scottish accent. Oh, I can say oh, that's quite German actually. I'm so happy to have you home, me hubby or mine. Our wee burns will be made up to see ya. Have fun with the Scottish accent, Steffi. Thanks. Thanks, Faith. How did I do? Probably really bad. Sorry, all Scottish people. I know that was a really bad Scottish accent, but then I have got an excuse. I'm not Scottish. Beverly says, Homer, all I want for Christmas is you. Oh, of course. Oh. Pamela says, perhaps she will be so overcome, she will be speechless. Well, that could also be the case. I wish that would happen to me occasionally. Oh yes, thank you, Erica. Do not forget the thumbs up, everybody. We need a thumbs up on this YouTube stream or video. Whenever you're watching it, you can give it the thumbs up. If you're watching this on Facebook, then you can't. You just have to give us a like. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be amazing. Are you how are your twin lambs going? Sorry, I was reading the comment below and then I read up, so I'm learning. She says that they grow like lambs should. That's nice. Okay. Oh, thank you, Emma. So the felt closes on Tuesday the 8th of December. I want to say November, but we've moved on. On the 8th of December, which is at 1 p.m. The tree and the presents is on the 15th, and then the Christmas special is Tuesday the 22nd. And that's still a surprise what we're gonna do. It is a surprise, mostly because we don't know, but you don't know this. It is a surprise. It's a surprise to you and us. It's an extra special surprise. But I'm sure we'll think of something specially good. Oh, it's the solstice, not the eclipse. Thank you, Emma. Oh, God. Okay. What's the difference? Okay. Anyway, I'm sure you all know what the difference is, and I'm the only one who doesn't. Donna says, no, Steffi, it's only cold rain here, and that's Donna from Scotland. In the very far north, Scotland. Okay. Bridget says, yes, getting hot here. 30 the other day. Oh my goodness, that's a contrast from talking about Scotland and rain. Yay, I made a live show. Oh, thank you, Rose. Is this your first time? Well, you're very welcome, and I hope you come again. Faith says, what a wonderful idea for connecting the fabric and the wool. I would never have thought of that. Oh, Faith, I'm sure you would have. I'm sure you would have. Rose says, this is great. I don't have to sew. No, you don't have to sew, but you do have to sew the fabric into this slightly rounder shape, but it's a really easy stitch and it doesn't need to look pretty either. So it's not really sewing. It's just fastening. You could staple it if you wanted to. Why ever not? People do have staples in their head. Laura says, Heather's first word to Homer, well, come home, gotta go, I'm late for my pole dancing. Oh dear, okay. Oh, thank you, Donna. Apparently I did well, a good go at my Scottish accent. You're way too polite, Donna, way too polite. Erica says, Heather says, let's have a family hug. That would be nice, a family hug. Faith says, love it, Steffi. You did perfect for Heather, who was putting on the Scottish accent too. Thank you. You're all very kind. And and Rosie says, I'm a joy to watch. Well, unless I'm swearing. Right. So let's move on. This is the end of the competition now. So we're going to put the eyes in. And I'm going to do this on the overhead camera again so you can all see better. Well, where did I put the eyes? That's a good question. I hope you're a bit more organized than I am. And I did give you that advice. I said, make sure you keep the eyes in a safe place. I've got them. Here they are. Is that Heather's eyes? They look a bit small. I don't think they're Heather's eyes. What's this? Ah, they look better. Right, 6mm eyes. 2 of them. That's good. She's not a one-eyed bandit, this one. And we're just going to keep them safe for a minute. Now, with Heather, because we want to give her really big eyes, you can enhance the size of the eyes by putting a little bit of black into the area where the eyes are going to go. And it's a bit like putting like really dark eyeliner on there. And we've got a winner. We've got a winner for today, Friday, live on YouTube. And you wouldn't believe who it is. It's Faith. Faith, well done. I love it that you won today because I've called you Heather and Feather, so you deserve to win. And I hope that you will make a really beautiful heart or even 3 from the pack. And just remember, it doesn't matter what life throws at you, there's always somewhere a silver lining. There's a German saying that my mother always used to say, and my mother's not around anymore, unfortunately. But it's funny how these things stick in your mind, and I can't. The best that I can translate it into English is that if you think you can't go any further, there's going to be a little light coming from somewhere. So remember that. And while I was talking, I didn't say what I was doing. I'm putting a black patch on Heather's eyes, not because she's been punched in the face, but because she's got very dark eyeliner around her eyes. And so this is now I'm going to put the eyes in. Oh God, I'm so not. I don't know why, but I'm not being very loving to this Hoggie today, am I? Right, so if you've got an awl, then you can poke that in her eye. Well, that didn't work either. That doesn't sound very loving either. But in any case, we're just going to give her eyes now. So you have to poke a hole in her eye. It's done out of love. And then you can use a felting needle. Give it a little jiggle, but only do that if once you've sunk the needle almost all the way in. So you've just can hold on to the end. Now, because it's black, it's going to be fun finding. I don't think this is the right size eyes I've got for Heather, still not. But anyway, they're going in. Oh, they look fine. There you go. She's got a little sparkle in her eye now. And then you repeat this on the other side. I've done this so often, you probably have seen me do this forever and ever. The eyes are still one of our best-selling products because they're just so easy to fasten in. And all you need is a little dab of glue right now, which I was going to use the glue bottle, but I don't think I've got it here. Where is it gone? Where might it be? I've got to use the glue pen, but we're a bit low on stock on the glue pens at this time when this live stream was made. So the glue bottle is just as good. So don't be disappointed if the glue sticks have sold out. We have got a glue bottle that's even got a finer nozzle, which is one of the reasons why we like these glues, is because the nozzle is nice and fine. And it fits right behind the eye. You don't have to take the eye out. You just put a dab of glue in there. I don't know if that put in there now. There, push the eye back in and then leave it to dry. If the eyes are in the wrong place, then obviously before you glue them in, you pull them out and put them in another place. And I love that bit when they their little eyes. So I keep pushing her little nose in, because with a stubby little nose, they do look definitely cuter. So do keep pushing that nose in and up. And that's basically Heather's eyes done now. And I'm just going to go very quickly and show you how to do the ears. So for the ears, you need a little bit of either the same wool that you've used. It's not essential, or you could use a different color wool if you're a bit short. I've still got a bit here. And you just take a wisp. It's always good to have the two portions for the ears already laid out, because then when later on you don't have to wonder how much you actually used. So you've got your ears, and then you fold the wool, you fold that in half, and now you're going to fold that in again. So you're making a little round shape here by folding it, and then all you're doing is stabbing it down on your felting mat. This is always where the wool looks exactly like the felting mat. Going to my medium needle, and you can sort of hold on to these wispy ends here. Have to take it off regularly, turn it round, felt the other side. It's sort of the size of a thumbnail maybe, and keep turning it round, and then you can add a tiny little bit of a contrasting color to the top of the ear. I'm going to use a bit of brown, dark brown. This is the dark brown that Homer is going to be made of. If you are making your Hoggies and you want a different color from what you've got in the pack, then you can of course mix colors as well. So I'm just adding a little bit of brown around the outside and let that sort of spill into the ear. Turn that round, stab it from the other side as well. It's meant to look sort of a little bit I don't know, it's not meant to look straight and neat and with a straight line. It's meant to look as if it's just a few wispy hedgehog furry bits on the ear. So that's one. And then you do the same on the other side. Fold that in half, shaping the ear with my fingers so it's nice and round. Felt it down from both sides. Take it off, felt it down, felt it into that shape. This is the super fast ear. And add a little bit of brown around the edges. I'm really sorry that I'm probably running a bit late, but that's I knew that this making Heather was always going to be quite labor intensive, so please do not feel bad if you have tried to keep up and you haven't. I wouldn't finish off Heather like this. I need to work on her body. It's definitely not as nice and shapely as I want it to be. I feel like her there's something not quite right with her arms, so I would want to work on her arms a bit more, maybe building a little bit more of the arm up to make it more even with the top. Sorry, I'm pulling on her arms now, but sometimes you can actually get a feel for what you need to do by just, oh, I know what's missing, look, just pushing in here, that so giving her a bit more. Sorry, I'm getting distracted now. That will giving her more of a neck, will define the top of the shoulders a little bit more. Sometimes it really works if you just sort of poke them and pinch them and pull them, because wherever you pinch and poke and shape them, that gives you an idea where you need to stab the needle. It won't stay like that if you pinch and poke them, but it will stay like that if you, that's so much better. Oh yeah, I'm glad I did that. So you can do this even more and give her more of a neckline. So she hasn't got, she's got, yeah, definitely a slimmer neck. That would be really useful. And I've just remembered there is a reason why that would be really useful, but I'm not going to tell you why. You will find out yourself. Right, must not get distracted by making Heather more perfect. Get this ear done. And other side. And if they're not entirely the same size, don't worry, because you can adjust the size when you're felting them onto the side of the head. So, oh, they're not too bad, a bit scruffy. So I'm going to take some of these wispy fibers off because there's quite a lot there, at least on one. And then you're broadening out the base so that you've got wispy fibers going all around the base. And you're finding a patch on her head where you can take the hedgehog fibers one or the other side and then just felt it into the fabric. Use your use your fine needle to do that. This actually reminds me of something. If you're watching this and you haven't started yet, if you haven't started making along, the fibers or the spikes on the hedgehog fabric, they are actually running one way or another. So if you want to cut your fabric so that the hair, as it was, the spikes run in a certain way, then you can obviously do that by making sure that you lay out the template in the right way onto the fabric. So that this is something that I hadn't really done with any of them, but it was again something that Emma reminded me of, and she said, do you need to make sure that the spikes are running one way or another? And I hadn't really thought about this, and I haven't even noticed it. I mean, I know that they ran a different way, but I didn't think it mattered. So with Heather here now, her hair is actually running the wrong way. It's going up, but I don't think it matters. To me, it doesn't matter. But you might be just that you know that level of detail, and then you might think, oh, I wish I'd done it the other way around. I hope you don't think that now that you've done it, but yes. So anyway, and then you fasten the other ear on. So find a little spot here so you don't lose any spikes, and then just stab the wool into the fabric, and that further fastens the fabric onto the head of the hedgehog. And because you're doing ears on all of them, that means that on all of them you don't need to do any extra fastening on the fabric. It really does make it a solid joint, so there is no, you don't have to worry about suddenly Heather losing her hedgehog spikes. They will stay on there, definitely. Right, so both ears are on. You can turn them forward or whichever way you want them to be. It is actually almost like, I don't think you would even notice if they had ears. You could put them also more to the side of the head. I've put them sort of quite high up on top of the head, as I imagine with hedgehogs, but you could put them more like you imagine them to be with humans on the side of the head. And you can also sort of stab into the side of them to make them point inward, like make them more shell shape rather than flat. So you can definitely manipulate the ears as you're stabbing them on. Definitely use your fine needle to do this. I think if you used a coarse needle, you would definitely break your needle. If you use a fine one, there's a chance of doing it. With a medium one. With a fine one, I don't feel that is a problem. So there you go. Right, there's one naked Hoggie there. She's yeah, she's ready to she looks quite sweet. So remember, if you want to color in her mouth into pink, then just use a little bit of a crayon, or you can use pink wool. Keep it subtle, or I've even put a bit of brown into her mouth there. Oh yes, in fact, on the instructions I've put brown in there. Let's just do that quickly. See, told you, I'm so forgetful. Forget what I'm actually doing half the time. Just a little bit, just to emphasize, but you don't have to do brown. You could use pink if you wanted to, but if you're putting brown in there, just really keep it very, very minimalistic. And so make sure you make a nice smiling mouth, so she looks like a very happy little Hoggie. There you go. And that is basically, that's Heather done. So yeah. And this obviously is like the hair hanging down at the back. You can, the side has come loose a little bit because I haven't felted that down very well. So I do apologize if this looks a bit like a rush job. It was definitely a rush job on my behalf, but I know that you will take much greater care to finish Heather off exactly how she needs to be. And I can't wait to see your finished Heathers, because that's the first time that you will have made a little Hoggie. So do share yours with us. Yeah, she's quite cute. So I'm quite happy with her. She's definitely taller than my other Heathers, but somehow there's something has gone wrong with my measuring. Lovely. So remember, we have got our Everyone a Maker Facebook group. You can join us on there, and you can certainly share your hoggies there. We would love to see them all, how they come, how they emerge through the advent of 2020, and hopefully we can see the Heathers maybe today or tomorrow. I'll definitely be watching out. And on Sunday we will be opening. I will be doing a short live stream Sunday morning to open the second envelope with all the holly treasures in there. And in all of our Christmas edition Hoggie packs, you get little presents as well. And I have no idea if we've got any Hoggie packs left, but I think we're sort of like, there might be just one or two still kicking around. So if you do want to join, albeit late, you can still do that. And I think that's all from me now. I'll just check in with the chat. So everybody's saying congratulations to the winner today. And of course, it will be another winner on Sunday night at 7 p.m. I must get this right because I'm so tuned in that we normally do this on a Tuesday, but today is Friday. So what else? Just finishing this off with a few comments here. What a wonderful idea for... Oh, thank you. I've already read that. Oh, God, I'm so behind. Okay. I'm going to scroll down now. Congratulations. Oh my God, I finally won something. Thank you so much. Yay, you won something. Excellent. You obviously needed it and you obviously deserved it. Absolutely. I mean, everybody deserves to win. So just keep checking in. The odds are that you will win one day. And Erica says, thank you for this wonderful Heather make. Bridget says, well done, Faith. Beverly says, thank you. And Faith says, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Steffi, for the sweet tutorial. Sweet tutorial with the odd borderline swear word. And I hope that you have fun, as much fun making your Heather. And I look forward to seeing her. So stay safe, everybody. Take care. And don't forget, next week we'll be back with more of the McHoggie clan. And I hope to see you then. Bye-bye.